Will you be promoting JD? Should Gavin Newsom be Democrats' choice? I don't know. Like we're not there yet, man. The midterms haven't even happened yet, and it's not a very interesting hypothetical until it gets crunchy, you know, until reality makes it crunchy. But like in the abstract, would I prefer a JD Vance that unambiguously wants to cut off support for Israel versus a Gavin Newsom that's eating out their ass? Yes. Yeah, I would support JD Vance like wholeheartedly, and I would endorse everyone vote for him. Yeah. Support for Israel is support for mass death. It's not just for Gazans, but for everyone. It's support for the apocalypse. It's a demonic belief. There is very, not to suggest there's little that JD Vance could do that would match the evil and harm done right now by supporting Israel, because if anyone could figure it out, you know, JD Vance and the Republicans could. But yeah, no, I would hope all Democrats would take this as a sign that it is in fact really important for every possible obvious reason to not support Israel right now. Your constituency doesn't want you to. You're hastening our like oil claps by providing them political support. Nobody likes it. It's unpopular. It's morally wrong. It's politically wrong. There's no reason to do it. It's just like insane to keep doing it, but they keep doing it anyway. So, you know, whatever. I
Uh,
get you're being hyperbolic. Well, I'm not being hyperbolic. Everything that I just said was correct. But come on, what about every other issue where Vance obviously worse? My position is that a Gavin Newsom or a Democratic Party that is willing to sell out the country to Israel is one that would not defend your rights anyway. Biden won in 2020. What happened? Nothing. Nothing good happened. Did anything good happen under Biden? Nah. Maybe a couple union wins. They can't fight for it. The Republicans are but a symptom of the greater evil. The great evil is apathy and the collapse of democracy, climate collapse. Democrats aren't going to protect you from this. If they can't even withdraw support from Israel when Israel is literally suicide bombing the world right now, what do you expect them to do for the rest of your rights? In my opinion, the obvious solution here would just be for Democrats to not support the Nazi regime. But like, you know, I don't know. I'm just like a YouTuber. Not gonna lie, probably Vaush's stupidest take. I can't do this again because we've done this 50 million times, but I need you guys to understand that we are literally weeks away from like, things are worse than you think. And supporting Israel in this environment, a Democratic Party that betrays their base, betrays America, betrays the world to support Israel for no other reason than because they're captured by special interests is not a Democratic Party that's going to save us. Not only will they not fix these problems, they will make them worse. Like so it's like, okay, let's bring it back to the 1940s, okay? Imagine you have like you don't have FDR or whatever. You have like a mirror of the current situation. Let's say hypothetically you have a conservative politician versus a liberal politician, but the liberal supports Nazi Germany, okay? What I need you to understand is that, so everyone in America who normally votes liberal is like, dude, what the fuck? Why do you support Nazi Germany? It's 1941 or what it's not, it's 1944. Everyone's like, why is the liberal presidential candidate supporting Nazi Germany? That's weird. Why is that happening? You know? And people are weird and depressed. It's depressing voter turnout. People are like, why the fuck does it even matter? How can they be a liberal if they support them? All these problems are being caused by Nazi Germany overseas and domestically, so on and so forth. And then what you have to understand is an ostensibly liberal president that supports Nazi Germany is not actually liberal. Gavin Newsom, the guy who brought Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon, Republican strategists, on to glaze them and tell them like they're doing a good job and cede points to them on trans rights, these people, Gavin Newsom, they're not actually liberals. Gavin Newsom ran as one because he was running for governor in California. They don't actually have your interests at heart. They are captured by special interests. So, to me, in my opinion, the obvious forward path here is to just not have the liberal candidate support the Nazis. And for some reason, this is like I'm like this is like a controversial. This isn't like an insane red line or whatever. Israel is causing us to run up against a global oil crisis, fuel shortages, famine, skyrocketing prices everywhere on earth. All of this because of Israel. All of this because we can't stop them. Do you know what the death toll might end up being just due to fertilizer shortages alone? Do you know what a combined unavailability of fertilizer for an entire like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 harvesting cycles combined with the instability of climate change, do you know what that might do to the world? Do you know what the death count for that could potentially be? Just a couple of famines in Southeast Asia or Western Africa, and we're talking about a greater death toll than Israel's done in Gaza over years. And why? Why support Israel? They hate us. They're evil. They rape prisoners with dogs. All they want to do is kill and kill and kill and kill and kill. Is it really that crazy for me to think it might be important that we not support them? Vaush doing the Trump will be better in Israel-Palestine argument that got us here. Oh, yeah, man, dude, that's it. It was pro-Palestinian support that got Trump to win over Kamala Harris, and not Kamala Harris endorsing the Nazi regime to the detriment of her own chances at winning. Give Democrats some fucking agency, dude. It's so embarrassing how Democrats represent this multi-billion-dollar political organization. They have the ears and the mouths of politicians and corporations and consultancies and think tanks, and somehow they're like never responsible for their own obvious massive strategic failures, like the fact that they continue to disingenuously support the far-right ethno-nationalist fucking genocide regime despite the interests of their constituency, despite the interests of the world. They keep doing it. Why? Because, like, I don't know, inertia or something. Give them some agency. Sorry, what was I talking about? Do you hold this position for non-Newsom candidates like Ossoff? I've said this a million times. For me, being a Zionist is a hard line. It is literally the end the world ideology. It is a death cult. I am not voting for fucking death cultists. The solution here is to run Democrats that are not death cultists. If J.D. Vance like runs on a campaign of continued opposition to Israeli interests, and the Democrats are like, that's anti-Semitic, J.D. Vance. We should send Israel more rape dogs. Israel demands thousands of rape dogs be shipped over from naught but the finest breeders, and we will continue to serve them in their time of need. Then yes, that is a hard line for me. I'm really sorry. How do you know Vance is sincere? They're politicians. I'm not voting on their perceived sincerity. Right now, Vance is threatening Israel and telling them that they have overstepped and they need to get in line with the MOU and withdraw from Lebanon, because if they don't, they risk losing Trump's support. That is more than Democrats have done. Democrats say, oh, red lines on this, don't give them weapons, blah, blah, blah. Some Democrats say they don't want to give them Iron Dome munitions. Some. Very few are willing to go that far. But no Democrats are willing to say what J.D. Vance has been saying, that if everything is Jew hatred, nothing is Jew hatred. That Israel is entitled, that they've overstepped, that they are alone in the world, and the support of the United States is the only reason they're still afloat. These are like radically true. These are completely true positions to hold, but Democrats know that if they said it, they'd get like Mamdani treatment, the mainstream media just nonstop dogging them. So for the most part, we get these mealy-mouthed like, Netanyahu's regime has gone too far. We should withhold weapons until, Israel, da-da-da. No. It is time to abide by the memorandum of understanding, because if you don't, the strait will stay closed and we will have a fucking oil apocalypse, okay? The time is now. Democrats could have said everything Vance is saying right now years ago. They didn't because they're weak. What about inexcusable shit like Republicans taking women's autonomy away? Oh, yeah, that's really bad. Maybe Democrats shouldn't keep throwing the game in front of Republicans. I don't know what you want. But there is the revocation of Roe v. Wade, which took place, by the way, because Hillary Clinton ran a shit campaign and gave Trump the ability to appoint a bunch of Supreme Court justices. Thank you, weakness. Thank you, Democrats. Is bad, absolutely. But again, we're talking about apocalyptic circumstances here. Like, I'm sorry. And by the way, remember, a Democratic Party that is too weak to fight Zionism won't fight for your rights either. How much have the Democrats done to protect your reproductive rights lately? How much of a national message have they made of it? Every day, women die in Texas because they can't get access to proper prenatal care or abortion care, whatever the fuck else. How much have Democrats talked about it? Out of curiosity. Have they led a national message? Republicans can lead a national message every time a black kid shoots a white kid. Every time there's like a court case or whatever, they get to run it for weeks and weeks. How much have the Democrats, in their infinite weakness, in their unimaginable, incredible weakness, how much of an issue have they made of it? Have you forgotten about it? Does it matter to you? Democrats can't fight for you because they're weak, and they're weak because they're beholden to special interests, not to their constituency. I'm the one pushing for a version of the Democratic Party that can fight for our rights. I want the Democrats to be strong. I want them to be democratic. I want them to represent the interests of their constituency. I want them to fight for America. But if you're like, maybe they can't, maybe they should just do unpopular, evil apocalypse stuff for no reason, like you're fighting for a version of the Democratic Party that is weak. At best, weak. At worst, openly complicit with our enemies. Which, by the way, that's happened like a million times. How many times have Democrats ceded territory to Republicans because of their shared ground on Zionism? Like, for instance, censuring Rashida Tlaib. Oh, I'm still mad about that one. Remember Mamdani and Cuomo? Remember the leaders in the Democratic Party, Jeffries and Schumer, not wholeheartedly endorsing Mamdani over the Trump-backed Cuomo. They would have let a Republican, which is what Cuomo was, because Cuomo was receiving and seeking support from the White House, they would have rather let a Republican run New York City than Mamdani, rather than allow an anti-Zionist to win. But this is the version of the Democratic Party that you're okay with, I guess, because like holding them to any kind of standard would actually somehow make them. We can't hold them to standards. What is this, politics? What are we doing? Fighting for stakes? I'm very interested in winning. Here's my competitive soccer team made up entirely of quadriplegics. Oh, what, you want to implement a litmus test so that the soccer players that I'm working with are higher quality and better able to play the game? What? So what? You want to? You're only attacking us? You're attacking the quadriplegic team that has to be rolled out there on the field and they all tip over and fall and shit their pants and die? That's fucking ableism, dog. That's fucking ableism. Why are you only attacking the quadriplegic team and not the enemy team, who we know is going to fight against us? And it's our job to fight against them, which is why we've deployed the quadriplegics. Have some fucking standards, man. Sorry, I got a little mad. I got a little mad there. It's okay. Holding them to the standard is voting for the guy who wanted to turn the U.S. military on Trump's set. Listen, the Zionists, it's a uniparty faction, are the ones working to turn America into a police state. Democrats support raising police budgets. Democrats raise funding for the Pentagon. Democrats support every fucking Pentagon line. Oh, Iran is our greatest enemy. Fucking Kamala Harris was saying Iran is the greatest threat. Democrat advisors were saying we had to deal with nuclear material in Iran. You are the enemy. You are the enemy. You are a Republican agent. Your job is to make the Democrats weak. The Democrats could be strong. A Democratic Party that united against Israel after October 7th would be polling plus 40 nationally right now. But you don't want that because you want to wallow in weakness. You are weak. You are not willing to challenge your priors. Knowing or not, you are an agent of the enemy. You crave weakness because you would rather embrace it and live under it and die under it than acknowledge the possibility that your lack of litmus testing and standards holding has led to a Democratic Party that despises you. They hate you. They don't represent your interests. They are not democratic. They are comedically ineffective. They fail every day, every hour of every day, time and time again. The National Democratic Party demonstrates to you that they are incompetent and do not care about doing their jobs better. But you lap it up. You lap it up and you mock the people who dare to suggest they might be better. I am pro-Democratic Party because the Democratic Party is an institution, represents the interests of its constituency, and the constituency has made up its mind about Israel. You hate America. You hate Americans. You hate democracy. You hate Gazans. You hate the world. You hate Jews because Jews will have to live under another millennia of oppression for being the nominally responsible group for the fucking global apocalypse that you are allowing us to sleepwalk towards. You despise them. You hate them. You love them as a convenient shield. I hate you so much. And you're not, the worst thing is you're weak. I'm stronger than you. Everyone is. Everyone is stronger than you, but in your weakness, you drag us down, much as a strong swimmer can still be sent to the depths of the sea by a weak swimmer clinging to their leg as they sink. I hate you so much. You have to fight for good things, not just accept the shit they serve you on a plate. What of my voting hardlines protecting my partner? Well, luckily for you, that one's easy, because Gavin Newsom will not fucking protect your... I'm assuming your partner is trans. Gavin Newsom will not fucking protect your trans rights, if that's your line. So, you know, that one's an easy one. But again, the only reason we're in this position right now is because the Democrats are weak. If the Democrats weren't weak and actually did their job properly, the Overton window never would have shifted to this point, and we wouldn't be talking about this. They would have lost in 2016. They would have lost in 2024. We are in this position because of Democrats. You can trust the Republicans to be evil. I can't control who the Republicans run. My viewers aren't Republicans. You don't vote Republican. We can't control who wins the Republican primary. They are evil. They hate life. They hate life. All they want to do is rape children. That is the goal of the Republican Party. That is the only thing they want to do. We are all in agreement. We are unanimous in our agreement. We understand what they want to do. That is their goal. They want to rape kids. They want to rape kids, and they want more trillionaires at your expense. That is what they want. We have one party capable of fighting back against this. And right now, they are incapable of it. Will you accept this and move forward like a man, or cower like a dog? Will you just ignore reality? Will you quiver? Will you just hide in a corner in the fetal position and refuse to acknowledge the fact that through myriad evidence, overwhelming evidence suggesting that the Democrats are incapable of doing this work? They cannot do it. They cannot do it in their current form. They are jokes. They are comedy. It is comedy how bad they are and what they are supposed to be doing. Nobody in the Democratic constituency is happy with how their party is doing. The Democratic Party, the voters, the real people, the Americans, are not happy with what the party is doing. We must fight to build a better Democratic Party, and yes, that does mean litmus tests. It does. It does mean litmus tests. It does mean saying, Democratic Party, it is not acceptable that you run a pro-Nazi candidate, because a pro-Nazi candidate isn't just going to be pro-Nazi over there. They're going to be pro the decay of this country, because there is a direct line between support for Zionism abroad and domestically. The Zionist effort to destroy your First Amendment rights. The Zionist effort to let capital run amok and deregulate the market. The Zionist effort to do this and that. Because remember, Zionism is just the ethno-nationalist wedge issue justification for the interests of capital. And capital has its claws deep in this country. If you want to win, you want to beat capital. And if you want to beat capital, you have to beat their chosen champions. And Zionism is a real easy target right now because your party fucking hates Israel. The Democrats do not support what Israel is doing. So rally around that and use it as a pushing point to push back against capital influence. Because if you can't do that, we are never going to escape. Things will only continue to get worse for the rest of your life. Worth pointing out that if it wasn't for principled anti-Zionism within the Democratic Party, Democratic candidates would still be openly and shamelessly taking money from AIPAC, an organization that donates to January 6 supporters. Like, if you want a very clear indicator of how much deference to Zionism cucks Democrats out to positions that mean they cannot defend you, the Democrats were openly, freely taking AIPAC money, all of them, basically. Like, basically every Democrat's taken AIPAC money, but they were able to just publicly front it because it was just not seen as an issue that they were taking money from a political organization that gave money to fucking election deniers and J6 supporters. Isn't that a bit of an issue? Remember Vance during ICE, a single foreign policy win does not clear his name? Insipid, liberal, your brain is rotted by individualism. At no point have I cleared Vance's name. You're imagining, you're shadowboxing, you're fighting in the corner of a room right now. Men in white coats are approaching you from behind. They're going to put you in a straitjacket and take it away. You're going to the facility. You're going to a goddamn sanatorium. It wasn't always like this. In other countries around the world, and in America in the past, it was possible for good politicians to do good things. People had hope. Now none of you have hope. The people who demand that I plug my nose and eat the shit the Democrats serve to us on a plate are people who have themselves given up hope. You're just engaging in smug contrarianism. You don't actually believe in a future. You know the Democrats offer you nothing. You know the world's not going to become a better place. You know that we have nothing but despair in our future. You know that it's over. You know that because right now the Democratic Party is incapable of doing anything against the tide that we face, okay? The storm is coming, all right? It is already here. It has been here for a while, but it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse with time. Democrats aren't going to fix it, and you know it. You know there's no future. You know that it's over. But there was a time when good men could do good things. We need to return to that time. It used to be possible. Now it is not. If you continue to wallow in the mire of, well, we can't do better than the Democratic status quo, then you are consigning yourself to every bad thing Republicans do to you. Every dead Gazan child, every Republican taking away your right, you co-signed all of it. Because we could have had an opposition party and you said no. You're a traitor to yourself. All right, got it out of my system a little bit, I think. Those things are not mutually exclusive. You are a Republican. All right, bro, guess I'm a Republican, lol. You're not even old enough to vote. It's immaterial.